Greetings one and all, I'm Red Angel and welcome to Games Taking Flight, a series of game reviews where I critique games in my own unique way. Today's subject? Rising Islands. Reviewer's note, I was given a copy of this by the publisher. Rising Islands is a game developed by Lone Hero Studios and published by Sodasco Publishing. It's a parkour action platformer with a mechanic that allows the player to switch between dimensions at will to conquer great obstacles. And by great obstacles, I mean walls that you run up, then down, side to side, and all over the place on. This is one of the cornerstones on how the game works, and luckily it functions well. The gameplay has the capability of being so immersive that sometimes you'll feel as though you're right there in the action with our lead heroine, Hario. The story of the game is basic, which is not a bad thing because a simplistic story works well for a game like this. You're recruited by two floating creatures to save the world from falling apart by collecting all of the MacGuffins, and you're given the power to travel around the world with the red and blue dimensions. The way they tell you about it is a bit odd, however, since it's told in small text boxes from the floating creatures, but there's no sound when they talk. They resemble the likes of Sparks from Spyro or Murphy from Rayman, and yet there's nothing indicating that they're actually speaking, which means the game's opening's cutscene is bizarrely quiet, and since our protagonist is also silent, the cutscenes can be pretty awkward. It also doesn't help matters that there are quite a few spelling errors and grammatical issues with the game's text, things that should have been picked up prior to release. However, the story isn't the focus of the game, that'd be the gameplay. And while the wall running parts work, the developers try to integrate other mechanics into Rising Islands, and well, it gives some mixed results. They try to integrate grinding on rails, air dash mechanics, jumping over long distances with well-placed platforms, etc. And if you're thinking this sounds a lot like a Sonic game, then you've noticed the same thing I did. When Rising Islands is trying to be itself, it's a fine game, and it works well for an action parkour platformer. When it tries to be Sonic though, it doesn't work nearly as well. It tries to make you do too many things at once, which causes the gameplay to get very cluttered very quickly. It starts like this. You are running down the wall and you must quickly change your dimension in order to avoid the electricity. You do so, land on the platform, and then BOOM! You're dead. What happened? Well, you see, there was a red ball on the platform that you were trying to land on, and that hitbox just happens to be the size of Texas. And if you just so happen to graze it, you're dead. Goodbye. You're done. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. But if by some miracle you manage to avoid that, you have to run on the wall, the platform, grind on the rail, turn dimensions, but then quickly turn back to grind on the rail again, but make sure you platform again so you can later dash into another area. And do you see where I'm going with this? Oh, and did I mention it runs at 10 FPS sometimes, which completely messes up your platforming, even on a computer with a brand new graphics card and processor? This game works when it uses the wall running and dimension swapping mechanic, or when it spaces everything out and gives you time to get into the groove of running, jumping, and platforming. When it decides to do everything at once to test your skills, it doesn't do that, it just makes things a chore to get through. I had other complaints about time trial mode being poorly implemented, but most of that was fixed in a recent patch. The problem in that recent patch is that it deleted all of the game files. No, I'm not making this up. It deleted everything. All of the save data, everything. Nice job breaking it, Lone Hero Studios. Rising Islands is a game that excels when it's keeping its own identity. It can capture some of the great free-running aspects that we've seen in games like Cloud Build. But when it tries to do too much at once, it diverts from its smooth flight and decides to go flying recklessly into a hurricane.